Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy MKS here, back at you with the third and penultimate part of Black Tuesdays. I think in the description initially I put on Facebook, I put Mondays, forgetting what day it was. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and as ever, I'll try not to waffle, and I hope to hear from as many people as possible, or read as many comments as possible, in other words. And as ever, if you want to make any reaction videos or any reactions in any way you like, or comment or whatever, please feel free as ever. But these are mainly geared towards members of the Black community and their allies and supporters, or those interested in Black empowerment and Black History Month and things like that. So here goes. So number 21, as the saying goes, 21 again, I always say that one, but I wonder what, I'm not a big fan of culture or tradition. Like, to me, they mean the same thing, which means living in the past. But I thought I would ask people, and I thought I would ask the Black community, what are the question, what is Black culture, or what are some Black traditions and things like that. What is Black tradition, or what are some Black traditions, maybe including from Africa or from the Caribbean communities or whatnot. I'd love to know, just out of curiosity, what are some Black cultures and traditions and things like that. As I say, although I'm not really that into culture or tradition. Number 22, I'd love to see what the future could hold for the Black community and how they could be empowered in the future. And I'd love to support Black technologists and futurists and whatnot, and Black people to achieve their full potential and ambitions, as previously mentioned, and see how they could do that in the future, and how they could be empowered in the future, how they could maybe work together on a lobby group, for instance, and things like that, and ensure things like the Windrush generation, the scandal that happened to the Windrush generation never happens again. I hope you can hear me, by the way, because someone's drilling next door. So I know, as I say, it's not, as I often say, it's not the loudest, but as I say, I'd love to ensure that, I'd love to find ways to ensure that things that happen to minority communities here in the UK, or maybe even across Europe, are prevented in the future, hopefully, and that minority communities can work together to safeguard each other. As I said before, like, I think what happened to the Windrush generation could always happen to another community. So I think it's important that we stick together and support each other as much as possible as minorities. But I mean, many people might say their experiences of being in the UK or other countries has been positive. So I hope to hear negative and positive experiences, or experiences generally. And again, as I mentioned about how I'd love to interview members of the Black community, I understand that some may not want to mention some other things, for whatever reason, but I hope some will be. I hope at least some will be confident enough to talk about their experiences. Another thing is, I would love to work on ideas for TV shows for the Black community. So Black British TV shows, maybe helping Black British people to make their own TV shows, their own versions of, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the British version. Maybe some fun versions on YouTube, like if Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was British or whatever, and also like shows like Deal or No Deal. There could be like a Black version where the members, the participants, could be all Black British, let's say, for instance, where they talk about things to do with Black history, maybe facts about Black history, or what Black people have achieved, or things like that. And maybe even the host sometimes could be a Black person, or they could be different. I'm thinking of different ideas. Like sometimes the panelists, or sorry, the host could be Noel Edmonds or someone like that. It could be someone different. And sometimes the host could be Black themselves, and maybe the audience members, and they talk about things to do with Black history. Sometimes it could be a mixed group or whatnot. So I'm sort of playing around with ideas along that. So I'd love to share those ideas and see how I could implement them as soon as possible, hopefully. So I'd say a Black version of Deal or No Deal, Pointless, and can't think of much TV shows. Countdown, what's another TV show? Can't remember. Catchphrase, that's it. I think it's Catchphrase is another one. But yeah, TV shows like that. Like a Black version where they talk about facts about Black history or things like that. So it has a Black history and empowerment theme to it. And also, I'd love to know, as I said before, as I said yesterday, I'd love to know what Black British people think about the word Black History Month or the term Black History Month, and whether it could be changed to something else like Black Support Month, Black Empowerment Month, or things like that. So I'd love to know what your favourite name would be. If I was more organised again, I would have. Once again, if I was more organised, I would have created a poll for that. Anyway, I think I covered that point in enough detail, so I'm going to move on. Number 23. And again, I know I mentioned this point, but I often think for number 23 about fundraising, and I'd love to look into how different companies, banks, businesses, and what investors could invest in Black community. I think it'd be interesting if the PIF from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, maybe even other Arab nations, Berkshire Hathaway also, Cascade Investment, Bridgewater, even BlackRock and others could invest in, and the list could go on. Any investors really, it would be interesting how they could be encouraged to invest in Black, British and African and even across Europe businesses. And Barclays could invest in South Africa, for instance, to make up for the fact that I think historically it said that they supported apartheid and things like that. So I think it'd be interesting if banks invested in and supported South Africa as well to make up for that history. But also, I'd say the Black British community and Black people all over the world being empowered and getting funds to build their businesses, to start businesses, grow businesses, and learn as much as they can to profit maximise. Number 24. On that note, I would love to support Black Pound Day. It'd be interesting if America had their own version, the Black Dollar Day. But also Black Business Day and things like that. I think in America it's the 23rd of August, if I'm not mistaken, is Black Business Day. But I think it'd be cool to see Britain, again, learning from African Americans and others, and seeing what they could do and learn from each other. And what happens for one could happen for another group. So they can network together and talk about what rights they have and how they can improve their rights. So whatever rights are given to African Americans could be given to Black British people and vice versa. But again, I'd love to support Black Pound Day, Black Business Day, things like that as much as I can, although I don't have a huge amount of funds, but I would love to support such things like possibly raising the profile of Black businesses on some days and things like that. Number 25, as ever, I'd love to hear from different Black people's views on business or politics or different areas, and seeing again how they could be empowered and things like that. Number 26, and again, I know I mentioned this point quite a lot, and I know I'm very repetitive, so please forgive me as ever, but as a form of reparations, I think that the Black community in Britain and possibly in other places outside of Africa should be, if not tax exempt, at least have to pay the least amount of taxes possible. So get tax cuts and things like that for the Black community as a form of reparations, and possibly maybe even a bit of state funding and encouragement to invest in such communities, and also money from the lottery for good causes to help Black-owned businesses and things like that. Maybe in October, the lottery for good could be donated to Black and stroke or dyslexic people, as it's both Black History Month and Dyslexia Awareness Month. And I like the theme of empowerment. Number 27, as I often say, I think there should be a list of the top funders of or general supporters of the Black community. Let's say Black British community. It could be like a website where it has a list of the top people who have invested in and just generally supported, funded, fundraised for and whatnot the Black British community. Number 28, I hope that some of the negative stereotypes will be challenged. So the negative things people say about the Black community being involved in crime or being unemployed or things like that. I know I'm unemployed myself, to be fair, but I hope those sorts of negatives will change by supporting Black-owned businesses, Black people in tech, and other areas, and those TV shows perhaps that I want to make. And maybe some of those could even talk about Black-owned businesses and raise their profile. And also, I'd love to support Black YouTubers and TikTokers and that sort of thing. Number 29, and look at how other minorities could support. I know I'm trying to make it a bit different to yesterday, to Mondays, but yeah, look at how different minorities or allies or whatnot could support them, and that kind of thing. And also, I'd love to have a special project for Black people with dyslexia, Black dyslexics, or whatever you want to call it. And as ever, I'd love to hear your suggestions for those things like the TV shows, what TV shows there could be for the Black community. What do you think of the idea of the show Pointless, and also Countdown, Catchphrase, and Deal or No Deal, and shows like that being having special versions for Black History Month? I'd love to know what you think about that, and all sorts of different shows. If they worked, I think with momentum, there could be more shows like that. And number 30, as ever, I'd love to know your ideas, and I am out. Peace and love.